Hi, my name is Garrett Christopher, and this is my YouTube channel. This is called Garrett Sports Take. Right now we're talking about football. It's the middle of August. We've got preseason games going on. The first round just ended this past week. And I want to talk about each division. My first part of this sports rant, I call them, talked about the AFC East because my Miami Dolphins are in the AFC East. So I had to start there. They won't win the division, by the way. Buffalo will win the division. But I think they're going to make the playoffs. In any case, please check out GarettChristopher.com. You'll find out more about me. I'm a self-published author. I've got my hands in a few things there. I've got a couple of audiobooks that are out, available on Audible. I do a weekly podcast, available on both SoundCloud and Spotify. And I've got two more YouTube channels. There's Garrett's Movie Take, where I try to convince you why my favorite movies should be your favorite movies, or at least you should like them. And the other one is just called Garrett's Take. And I'm in a pretty serious conversation right now talking about homelessness. So please check that out. And with anything that you check out on my sites, and even if you go to my Instagram, Facebook, and even my email, even my email, please leave comments. Let me know how I'm doing, what I can improve upon, what I'm doing well, what I'm doing horribly, all across the board there. Please let me know, okay? So let's talk about the NFC West, shall we? I'm going to go through each division. And I'm not going to, if you're looking for someone who's going to give you fantasy numbers, I'm not that person. I'm not that smart, first of all, and not that studied in as far as specific players. I've watched sports for a long time. I think I have a pretty good grasp, a pretty fair grasp on teams and situations and coaches and success and that kind of a thing. And not that I'm some, predictable or great at predicting, Jimmy the Greek type of, guru type of thing. But I will offer some insights there and probably stuff you already know. But hey, maybe we can talk about it a little bit more and you can share with me why your team is better than I say or worse than I say or what have you like that. So, all right. So the NFC West. So we have an NFC West from top to bottom as far as records last year of Seattle Seahawks. Then you had the LA Rams, Arizona Cardinals, and then finally the Frisco 49ers, right? So I don't think things are going to be the same this year. Now, I'm not saying that the pecking order won't be the same, but there are some changes. And I think the most drastic change is the health of the 49er squad. Here you have a team that did very well the year before that, very well. And then all of a sudden, boom, you had just tons of injuries to very, very key players. And they had a couple of games they had no business losing. They lost to my Miami Dolphins. That was the Rams. Forgive me. Let me go back a little bit. They did lose to my Dolphins, and they did deserve to lose that game because, like I said, just decimated by injuries. You take Mr. Bosa out of the middle of that field. That changes quite a few things. So I think Seattle will be just as good on paper, but they may have one less win. I think the Rams, that's the team that had a couple of losses they shouldn't have lost to the Dolphins, first of all. Will the change to Matthew Stafford versus Jared Goff, would that have made a difference last year? And I watched the game, of course, because it's my Dolphins, and I was very happy of what turned out. But Jared Goff was flustered, more than flustered, by the Dolphins' pass rush. And Matthew Stafford, usually, when we played him in the Lions, he just burnt us every which way but loose. So I'm pretty sure that would have turned out differently. And they lost to the Jets as well. So I don't think that's going to happen again, or wouldn't have happened again with Matthew Stafford in there. So I'm kind of puzzled. I think Jared Goff has tons of talent, and a lot of other people did too, and still do, just based on the fact that the Lions, traded to get him. I felt that they got as far as they could with Matthew Stafford, and Sean McVay felt the same thing in reference to Jared Goff. So we'll see what happens. Is it a good switch? I was really puzzled by it at first, but change of scenery. So I hope in both cases they do really, really well in their divisions. Yeah, definitely. So, but I think that they'll kind of stay in that range. So they were 10-6. I don't think any improvement, even though they should have lost to the Jets and probably shouldn't have lost to the Dolphins. The 49ers are going to be better. And I think Arizona had a couple of really good wins last year. And I think that, well, let's talk about that for a second. So Kyler Murray, what was the deal coming out of college, right? It was his height. It was the size of his hands. If you listen to Dan Patrick and that kind of thing, he didn't really care about that. And a lot of people did. Going in, I don't know. I mean, Russell Wilson has proven in this division alone that you can be 6 foot and below and be outstanding and be incredible. But is Kyler Murray Russell Wilson? Maybe he will be, in a couple, 3 years. He's not him right now. And you can't expect him to be. Russell Wilson, to me, is he's something special. And I don't really care for his game because he burns my team every time he plays us. And he's just so elusive. He just drives you up a wall because you think you've got him nailed to the ground. And then he slips out and throws this 40-yard bomb down the field. And, Metcalf or somebody catches the ball. You're like, oh, my goodness. It's just, you're crazy. And I think that people want to see Kyler Murray do those kinds of things. And heck, he ran for almost 900 yards last year. So we know he can escape and run. But as the season went on, he faded. Thus, the team faded. And it's a health thing. He's not a big guy, incredibly strong, I'm sure. I don't know all of his stats as far as what he can bench and all that kind of thing. But we know he's extremely quick and extremely talented. Extremely talented. Could have gone in NFL or, Major League Baseball, goodness sakes. So just incredible athlete. But I don't believe he's Russell Wilson yet. Maybe he'll get there. So for that reason, when they go head-to-head against similar teams and against each other, I kind of see it as Russell and Pete Carroll's scheme. They just seem real solid. I don't see a fall off there, but a couple of teams that they beat last year might not be as easy this year. But they're solid. They're a solid team. So the way I see it is this. I see Seattle, again, taking the NFC West. I do believe that the Rams and 49ers will kind of vie for that second and third spot. We'll see how Matthew Stafford does in Sean McVay's offense. We'll see how that relationship grows. I'm hoping those guys talked a great deal before the trade, came down. We know Matthew can't run. We know he's got a heck of an arm. But we also know that, between Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods, you've got some really, really good receivers, but they're not Megatron type receivers, right? And the Niners will be in there. They're going to be, I think, as tough as nails. And I think that they've got a shot. I think through most of the season, you'll see that there will be 3 teams vying for the top seed in that division. But I think that Seattle will come on top. I would choose, off the top of my head, I would choose the Rams next. Why? Jimmy Garoppolo. He's still there. I was talking to a guy at work who was a Niners fan. I thought Jimmy had been traded. In my head, it was like sealed. Jimmy G was gone. He's not. He's still there. And of course, they used a high draft pick on a quarterback. But Jimmy G will start the season, and we'll see. Like with the case of my Dolphins, how long will the head coach stay with that quarterback when they have someone in the wings that could infuse a little bit of energy, So in Miami's case, how long will, the coach stay with Tua, and how long will the Niners stick with Jimmy G, right? We'll see what happens. As far as Arizona, I like Kyler Murray. Heck of a kid. I like the squad, but you got maybe the best receiver in the NFL on one side of the field. Who's on the other side? You have a couple of options there, but I think the options make it easier for teams. Now, DeAndre Hopkins still had incredible numbers, so it doesn't matter who you put on him and that kind of a thing. But we did see that things kind of faded out toward the end of the season. And that concerns me a little bit as far as they're concerned. So I'm picking Arizona. I think the NFC West is going to be a tough division. Yeah, definitely. I think better than the NFC East, that's for sure, which should make a little bit of a comeback. But, we'll talk about that, in a different rant. But that's how I pick it out. And as far as the wins, I think the Niners will improve as opposed to the 6-10. I think they're going to turn it around. I think they're going to look at, 10-7. And I think the Rams will kind of sit in that same pocket. I mean, I think the Cardinals will sit even again at, maybe one game above. It's very possible that every team in that division will be over 500. I could see that happening because there is a lot of talent there. And I think that last year there were some teams in other divisions that did better than they should have. And we definitely know that at least one team in the NFC West didn't do as well as it could have because, again, of injuries. So there are my picks. There you have it. Again, I'm Garrett Christopher. Thanks for checking in. I will do another division here in just a minute. Thanks so much. Take care. GoPro, stop recording.